Mr. Moodey, good morning to you. Thank you very much for giving us your time. What exactly are you investigating?
Well, good morning to you too. As it is, basically, I'm on my way through to Tshwane to go and meet with Mayor Mokgalapa so that I can get his side of the story. And also, I have tasked the Federal Legal Commission through James Self, who is our governance unit head, for them to also conduct an investigation into this matter. We deem these matters to be of extreme importance for us because as a democratic alliance, we pride ourselves in ensuring that when we govern, we have clean governance and that we ensure that the actions of our public representatives are above board so that it prevents any damage to our brand.
All right. Mr. Moodey, let me interrupt you there for a second because you are driving and we might lose you at any moment. So it's important that I get in most of the questions I want to put to you. So you're saying you're on your way to meet Mr. Mokgalapa, but you've already mounted an investigation. And again, I ask, what are you investigating exactly?
Well, I'm going to meet him now, but I did have a long chat with him as well as with Sheila yesterday. I need to sit down and get to the bottom of this in the sense that I need to get their side of the story. There's a couple of questions that I will be asking because I'd also listened to the tape and I'd like to know how did this come about.
So you haven't listened to the tape?
I have listened to the tape.
When did you come across it?
I came across it yesterday morning.
And the sex allegations in that tape, are you any clear about whether or not indeed the element of sex is also what is contained in that tape?
I'm not clear on anything when it comes to the sex issue. That's me. I need to ask them, and they need to be truthful as to what actually transpired of me. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions at this stage. I'm also here to ensure that I act in the best interest of my party and in the interest of the people of Tshwane. Because ultimately, we are held accountable by the people of Tshwane. And it is my responsibility as a political head to ensure that I give the necessary political guidance as far as this matter is concerned. I don't do it alone. I have to report to my federal executive, and we take it from there.
Mr. Moodey, the sex allegations are not the only thing that is disturbing in that tape recording. Mr. Mokgalapa can also be heard saying very disparaging words against fellow colleagues in the City Council, also in the membership of the Democratic Alliance. For example, he can be heard talking about Soli Msimanga's quote-unquote stupid policies. What is happening inside the DA exactly?
Well, you had a conversation, all of us have had a conversation, a private conversation between colleagues. And you and I both know that out of committee or out of a meeting, a caucus, people talk. People talk. And this is unfortunate that this discussion took place and it was illegally recorded. Where is privacy? So he has to answer these questions to me, and he will have to answer these questions to the investigation committee as well. And if anything is found to be that he needs to be held accountable for both of them, the party will not shy away from taking the necessary steps.
Mr. Moodey, if he does admit, if he and Ms. Senkubuge do admit that indeed they did engage in sexual activity in the office, will that be grounds for dismissal?
Well, you have to, if it should be so. If it should be so.
It happened in the office.
Well, that is what we are on a tape. That allegedly we are on a tape. I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm here to try and get to the facts. From my side as the political leader, I'm not going to jump to conclusions.
All right. So, this mayor, just as a final question to you, he's been limping from one disaster to the next. You think about the strikes that took place in Tshwane, very disastrous. You think about the 4.4 million rand golden handshake to the former city manager, Mwekezi Mosola. Has Mr. Mokgalapa not dented the so-called clean governance of the DA?
You know what? You say disaster. I believe that Stevens Mokgalapa acted in the best interest of the people of Tshwane. And this happens across the board, be it in the private sector or the public sector. When you find an individual who would be putting the operation of any organization, in this case, the city, at risk. We've seen how that city had been deadlocked even before Stevens Mokgalapa took it over, in terms of service delivery, etc. And you then have to look at what is in the best interest of the people. And I believe that Stevens Mokgalapa, in terms of the severance package and the mutual termination of that contract, was taken in the best interest of the people of Tshwane. We can see how service delivery is being unlocked in that city as a result of that decision taken. So I don't call it a disaster. I call it an executive decision that was taken with the view to ensuring that we can deliver the necessary services and to get that government working.
All right.
So I don't understand your utterance of it being from one disaster to another.
All right. So, well, when we have time, we'll engage further on what I mean by disaster. But for now, thank you very much. That was DA Gauteng leader John Moodey on his way to meet the Tshwane Mayor Stevens Mokgalapa, allegedly involved in a sex scandal.